Joining us now from Washington, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst and the author of the book, The Officers Club. Colonel Peters, thanks for coming in. I watched the news conference, and afterwards, here's the thought I had. Is there an iron fist right now that says the United States of America on it that's ready to tattoo Muammar Gaddafi's head if he violates any of the lines that President Obama drew in the sand today?
No. President Obama, man, the guy, he was doing so well. The speech sounded good. And then with one line, he destroyed it all when he said that we will not go one step beyond protecting civilians. Now, that was for his base. But what Gaddafi heard was, okay, got a setback, but no regime change. I can sleep well tonight and wait the gringos out. I mean, whoever wrote that speech was so idiotic in not thinking about the effect on Gaddafi. We undercut the threat of the no-fly zone. So, again, I want Obama to do well. He's our president. But this guy projects weakness to the max.
But, Colonel Peters, what the president did say was that Colonel Gaddafi has to allow humanitarian aid in and that he cannot continue the attacks on the rebels. That's what I heard. And he said if he does those things, there are going to be military consequences. Does that mean the United States will go on the ground in that case, or does it mean that all bets are off and we'll leave it to the Japanese, to the French and the British and the UN and NATO?
Well, we don't want U.S. troops on the ground, and they're unnecessary. But this no-fly zone at this point, because it's been delayed so long, has to be really robust. It has to be a hair trigger. One Libyan tank moves out of position, you whack them. But I don't think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see a lot of dissension, and the Libyans are already playing the game by announcing that ceasefire today, even as they're bombing Misrata and other cities. And I can tell you exactly what Gaddafi's going to do now. You know, I'll put my money down with the ghost of Jimmy the Greek. He is going to keep pounding the freedom fighters until the Brits and French have planes in the air ready to hit, and then he will stop shooting.
Well,
but he's going to try and grab as much
ground as he can.
That's what
the French and the Brits say they're doing right now, Colonel Peters. They're saying they're putting the planes up. But I was curious about the American intervention. That's why I asked you, if he breaks the president's lines in the sand, if he breaks through, is the U.S. going to do something or not?
No. You'll have to push it a lot farther. Obama clearly doesn't want Americans pulling triggers in this. He's going to leave that to the Brits, the French, some Arabs, etc., while we provide infrastructure support.
Is that bad? What's wrong with that?
Well, it's bad because we have the best capability to take out air defenses. I mean, we're just so far ahead of the Brits and the French.
But you understand we're already at war in Iraq. We're already at war in Afghanistan. This would be a third Muslim country. No. You understand that. And so it's to our advantage to have Muslim countries involved, to have the Europeans involved.
I don't want us dominating, but the Arabs have asked us to come. The Arab League has asked us to come. The Libyans are asking us for help. And you know, we got to play our role. Now, as far as not having the capability, this is nonsense. Yes, we are bogged down in a worthless, hopeless campaign promise war in Afghanistan. But the Air Force and Navy aren't bogged down. They've got the planes. They're the ones that need to do this. And right now, Gaddafi is grabbing as much ground as he can, and even when the no-fly zone goes fully into effect, he will stop his tanks. He will keep his aircraft on the ground, and he will send in hit squads and commando teams that you can't do much about from the air. Gaddafi still has not gotten the message. And I have to tell you, Hillary Clinton sounds pretty good. She's been talking regime change. She's been saying he needs to go. And President Obama seems to think, well, if everybody's just nice, it'll all work out.
Well, no, but that's not fair because President Obama has said that Gaddafi has to go. Now, let me ask you to look.
Not today,
but he said that in the past. I think he's been clear, but you say you wanted him to repeat it today. But let me ask you to look at an opinion poll, the American people here. Here's a Fox News dynamic opinion poll. It says 25% of Americans favor having the U.S. get involved militarily in Libya, but 65%, Colonel Peters, say no action, no thank you. We don't want the U.S. military involved in Libya. Now, you're a military guy. I can understand why you would emphasize military response. But doesn't that draw you up short? Doesn't it make you say, well, we shouldn't have another war, especially one that doesn't have any support at home?
Well, there are several factors. First of all, One of the reasons support's so weak is because Obama hasn't provided leadership on this. The president's job is to explain why we have to do some tough things. Second, he does have us bogged down in this hopeless, worthless situation in Afghanistan. And three, look, nobody's explained to the American people how high the stakes are in Libya. It's not just about Libya. If the world community doesn't stop this tin pot dictator with his tin pot army from slaughtering his own people, the lesson dictators around the world will take from it, and some like Saudi in Yemen already has taken, is that it's okay to slaughter your own people. The Arab revolt, the fight for freedom, is at stake in Libya tonight.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Of course, you don't want the U.S. being super cop in every situation, but I get your point. I get your point, Ralph. Colonel Peters, thanks again for coming in.